So we hit this midlife and we start reflecting and we ask, is that all there is? Did I climb the right ladder? And maybe the biggest question of all is, what do I really want now?
We've been so conditioned since like forever to think that life peaks somewhere in your 40s or 50s. And after that, it's about slowing down and really this retirement preparation.
Right. And the old model was you learn by going to school and then you earn by working. And then I guess you withdraw. You climb the ladder. And when you hit your 60s, you're supposed to quietly fade into the background.
But here's the twist. We're all living longer, and not just longer, but healthier too. Those are the real possibilities and opportunities. But the math doesn't work anymore. You can't spend 40 years preparing for a 20-year or less retirement that turns out to be even 35, 40, or even 50 years long.
And surveys show that as you get to the second half, 80% of the people don't know or can't articulate what they want going forward.
Which leads us to what we call the retirement mirage. You've seen the couple walking on the beach, the Adirondack chairs, sitting with a margarita. Instead, you wake up and you basically go, gee, I don't have a calendar. My work identity's gone and way too much time on my hands, which I have to figure out what to do.
Right. Because work, even when work was stressful, gave us something. It gave us structure, goals, social interaction, sometimes even a sense of purpose. And in the traditional idea of retirement as a retreat from work and obligations, well, all this is gone. But what if you could even love what you do going forward? What if this next phase, this second half of life, was a total reframe?
What if life before retirement was the regular season and the second half is actually the playoffs and championships? People love this analogy. Think of the second half as your gift, not your golden years, the time when you get to choose your meaning and purpose, what it is for you and what game that you want to play. I'm Howard Kaplan, Harvard MBA, Michigan BBA, CPA with Deloitte. I also hold a CAPP, a CDYL, and CPM. I have a certification as a designing your life coach, and I've literally spent decades in the field of retirement planning. But those other letters are, after my name, are the designations that represent a very deep dive into positive psychology as well as study of what we call the new longevity and mature life design. My true life's work and passion has really been developing this firm personal strategic design, the process we call personal R&D, and then the program that you can hear more about, Designing What's Next.
Yeah, and I'm Bill Burnett, the executive director of the Life Design Lab. And I've been working in academia and industry for 40 years, including 2 startups and 7 years at Apple. I co-authored the Designing Your Life book, a book that captures the lessons learned from 16 years of teaching that class at Stanford. And I also co-authored Designing Your New Work Life, a book that helps you re-engage with the world of work. Both books are based on design thinking and positive psychology, and they answer the age-old question, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Look, a 90-year lifespan doesn't mean much if your health span ends at 65. That's people's greatest fear, quantity of life without quality.
Because we're not just reacting to aging anymore. We're going on the offense, managing our conditions, keeping our brains healthy and sharp. That's a big difference. The difference between lifespan and health span.
That brings us to the other kind of wealth, by the way, emotional prosperity. And that's what we focus on and do in the Designing What's Next experience.
Yeah. And I love this phrase, financially successful and emotionally rich, because it's not just about how much money you have, it's about how much life you have in the second half.
Emotional prosperity, living, loving, and full of positive emotions. It's a better definition of quality of life you're looking for. Professor Carstensen of the Stanford Center for Longevity has said that, here's a great quote: everyone wants to live longer, and science is making that happen. But living better, quality of life will be the real challenge and opportunity.
And positive psychology backs this up. In the second half of life, we care less about status and more about significance. And let's face it, significance doesn't come solely from your net worth. It comes from your impact, your relationships, and your alignment with your values. That's what makes this life meaningful, particularly at this time of life.
That's true. Alignment is the key word. If your work, your values, and your life are out of sync, no amount of money is going to make you feel good. But if they're in alignment, even a modest life feels rich.
And the best part, all of this, it's deeply personal. There's no one size fits all roadmap. Your second half should look like you. And that's why designing your life is a hyper-focused program focused just on you and your personal journey.
Which is where strategy comes in. No company worth its salt would move into the future without a solid strategic plan to guide its development. And we don't think you should either. Let's assume you have the money, part of this equation, figured out. You have enough. Your financial plan, however, should empower your personal strategic plan. That's how you get to emotional prosperity. And as well, we've looked at the number one thing that drives happiness for almost all people. And most people actually don't know what it is and how to make it work for them. In fact, the data suggests that at these ages, relationships and connectivity are in decline and people worry about lack. Well, we'll show you the proven strategies, how you reverse all this and thrive. Now is the time to develop your personal strategic design, and that's why we've created our Designing What's Next workshop.
Yeah, this is where we show people how to think differently, how to think like a designer. Based on my long-running class at Stanford and the book I wrote, we think life design is the best way we know of to design and build a joyful second half. And we know that you can prototype anything, including a prototype of your next chapter. We challenge you to run small experiments to see what will fit for you.
You know, most of you are high achievers in parts of your life, in your career, and you've played an A game in something that made you successful. But sometimes that and people get stuck. Designers don't get stuck trying to find the perfect plan. Our counsel is just keep getting better, not best. Perfection is paralyzing. Progress is energizing.
And let's be honest, again, most people aren't ready for this shift. In some studies, only 11% of the folks surveyed say they are emotionally prepared for this second half what's next journey.
And Bill, that's not a statistic. We think that's a design challenge. And to tackle this, you need real leadership and collaboration. Leadership means working with people who can really guide you in your journey in the same way that you've led teams or maybe companies. You need to seek out leadership and best practices.
And you need to have to collaborate. The lone wolf model doesn't work here. Find your team, find your tribe, find your near peer group. Radical collaboration isn't just for startups. It's all about designing what's next.
So let's land this, Bill. The big question is always, for everybody, what's next?
Well, the answer isn't a new job title, a new set of golf clubs, or a new vacation plan. It's really about having a new mindset, a program that you create, an identity that you get to design, not by default, but with intention.
For many, forget retirement. Don't focus on it the same way. Think reinvention.
Forget decline and withdrawal. Think design.
So whether you're 52 or 72, don't retire, but renew or reinvent or rewire, whatever your what we call reword is.
Design what's next. So this is what we do in our workshop and in our consulting. Personal Strategic Design is our firm. We provide a 3-day experience with 1 month of customized consulting. We also have a one-on-one customized consulting for individuals and organizations. You can find us on the web at personalstrategicdesign.com.